Hi everyone, good Thursday afternoon and welcome to GoLocal Live. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us for some news and politics as we welcome in Jay Gendron, the COO of Lottery at IGT. Jay, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much, my pleasure.
Well, I just want to start off as a Pawtucket native, a Pawtucket boy. How does a boy from Pawtucket rise through the ranks to be the Chief Operating Officer of Lottery, of an international lottery corporation? Explain to us a little bit your path to where you are now.
Well, it's been an incredible experience, to be honest with you. Back in March of 1995, I joined then GTech in government relations. My first title was desk officer, which was quite an interesting title. I walked in, I was 26 years old, and that was about 25 years ago. I'm almost 51 as we speak. I've held various positions in government relations and sales, operations, video lottery operations. And then in about 2006, I was elevated to Regional Vice President of Eastern Region Operations, which at the time was the largest region, and then GTech Corporation. I had that role until 2014 when I was elevated to Senior Vice President of the United States Lottery. Then North American Lottery, and in January of 2018, I was elevated to my current position of Chief Operating Officer of Lottery. So in retrospect, when you look at it, I started as an officer, and it took me 25 years to get back to the officer title. But it's been a fantastic experience working for a wonderful company. I've been so fortunate for so many years, and hopefully we will remain a renowned company for many years to come.
So you have the unique perspective of having seen it from GTech, coming through the ranks to where you are now with IGT. We had the opportunity to have Bob Vincent, chairman of IGT, in last week to talk holistically about the company, but really would like to talk a little bit about, obviously, lottery and lottery operations here in Rhode Island. You know, I think a lot of folks, they go into the store, they get their ticket, they go to the casino, and it seems so easy, it seems so seamless. And Bob talked a little bit about it, but just, what should folks know, how big the operation is and what it entails?
Well, in describing my role as COO of Lottery, I have several primary areas of responsibility. I have global lottery marketing, where we advertise, provide advice to our customers around the world on how to grow their sales. We call it same-store sales by providing data analytics and best practices. I also have global lottery printing, which is based in Lakeland, Florida, where we have two state-of-the-art presses down there, where we print scratch tickets for our customers around the world. I also handle our lottery management accounts in the United States, in Indiana and New Jersey, where the state, in essence, outsources the management of the lottery to us, and they reimburse us for our expenses, and we earn an incentive based upon our ability to drive their bottom line.
Okay.
And then, of course, NALO, which we call North American Lottery. Principal responsibilities are to oversee all the customers, manage the P&L, oversee the RFPs, the contract negotiations, of course, the implementations of the infrastructure. So it's a great responsibility, and I certainly enjoy every moment of it.
And let's talk a little bit again about those lottery operations here in Rhode Island. I mean, folks interface at the convenience store, at the casinos as well, but talk behind the scenes about IGT's role. We've got the Gleaming building here in Providence, we've got the call center, 1,100 jobs. I mean, that's a lot of jobs for a big operation, but the behind the scenes work that the lottery does, what do you think people don't know?
Well, there is a tremendous infrastructure behind all of that, and so I want to describe it to you. In Rhode Island, to run the traditional side of our lottery business, we have two data centers, a primary and backup data center, both located in the state of Rhode Island. In those data centers, we have two central systems in each, a primary and backup. Those systems communicate in Rhode Island to about 1,250 online lottery terminals that you would find at convenience stores throughout the state. We have over 300 self-service vending machines in the state of Rhode Island as well. And all of that infrastructure is connected via a communications infrastructure. In Rhode Island, the state of Rhode Island has one of the most robust communications infrastructures in the United States. So what we do in each of our terminals at the retail location, we have what we call dual comm inside. So it has two separate data communications points. One is a satellite and one is cellular.
Oh.
The principal form of communication is satellite. And I'm going to give you a couple of facts regarding that. So a typical lottery transaction, when a player plays Powerball, that transaction goes from the retailer, from the terminal, to the satellite dish on the roof, to the satellite in geosynchronous orbit, which is 23,000 miles up. It comes down 23,000 miles to the Earth station, logged in the central systems, goes back up 23,000 to the satellite in orbit, and then back 23,000 miles. Total round trip of every transaction is 92,000 miles to a player, and the time that transaction takes is less than 4 seconds.
Wow.
So we call it send to cut in 4 seconds. Now, you may recall some of these Powerball and Mega Millions, mega jackpots in the $1.6 billion level.
A lot of people playing.
Oh, a lot of people are playing. I can give you some stats. I will tell you in 2016, when Powerball was at $1.6 billion, our systems throughout the United States were processing at its peak transaction, which was generally a couple hours before the draw. We were processing in excess of 500,000 transactions a minute. So there is a tremendous amount of infrastructure behind somebody playing a lottery ticket. The infrastructure that we have in the state of Rhode Island is sound, it's robust, it's reliable. I would say on an annual basis, both the central systems and the lottery terminals via the communications network are available in excess of 99.9% of the time.
Wow. So let's talk, you talk about lottery terminals. Let's talk about relationship with casinos. We are looking right now, IGT is looking for an extension, a 20-year contract with the state of Rhode Island. Let's focus on that contract because you have worked on that and you've seen contracts around the country.
Sure.
So you have an understanding of when IGT goes to the state and says, we'd like 20 years for this reason, and specifically in Rhode Island, it has to do with that assurance of jobs.
Yes. So I'll tell you, when I look in the last 5 years, I've had principal responsibility of all contracting with lottery customers in the United States. In that 5-year period, our success rate has been in excess of 70%. Over that time period, if you look at the contract over contract effective rate increase of what states were paying before and after, you will find that there's an approximate increase of 12%. And I excluded a couple of states who were anomalies out of that because it would have skewed the number higher.
Okay.
So when you look at it, and that effective rate increase of 12%, that includes the 70% that we won as well as the 30% that we did not. So it's looking at the market as a whole. The market is effectively bearing a 12% increase. When I look at the agreement, the 3 revenue streams that we have with the state of Rhode Island here, and now we're focusing on the traditional lottery side where they pay us 5%. When I look at the 5% and the services we provide at the level we provide them, and when I take into consideration the additional services that we are going to provide in the new 20-year contract, I am very confident that the 5% rate that they're paying us is fair. In fact, I'm virtually certain if they went out to bid for all of those services, they would pay over 5%.
And do you think that that case has been made? I know there's been some analysis to date about that, about the holistic picture, and specifically the economic impact, auxiliary economic impact that IGT has on the state of Rhode Island.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've done a very good job in educating the key decision makers in the administration and the legislative leadership who we've met with. And when you look at our business with Rhode Island, it takes us 65 people to operate our business today in the state of Rhode Island. That's all of our business. So the 1,100 that we're agreeing to keep moving forward until 2043, that's 1,040 jobs that is incremental to what our Rhode Island business dictates that we need. That's the true economic value that I think the decision makers should be taking into consideration when they're evaluating this. So they're paying fair market rates and they're getting an additional 1,040 jobs on top of it.
Okay, again, how many miles are we here from Pawtucket, Jay? I mean,
Right
could
here.
you really have seen yourself here in this position back in the day? I mean, Pawtucket, going internationally, going full circle, you know, IGT, between your own personal story, between Chair Bob Vincent's story, you know, really has a tight, you know, the tightest of Rhode Island ties.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic experience. I've been so fortunate. You know, I was a local Pawtucket kid that was given an opportunity at the ground level in this major organization. At that time, it was GTEC. And I'm the true testament that if you go in and work hard, the company was going to provide you the opportunities to grow. And I was constantly challenged through the years by my superiors to stretch me further than I thought I could do. And I'm very fortunate to have so many great mentors through the years at GTEC and now IGT. It's really been a great experience for me.
And similarly, again, 1,100 jobs, obviously opportunities for young Rhode Islanders and Rhode Islanders in the workforce to consider IGT as a potential employer.
Right. I mean, you know, when I look at what I'd like the key decision makers here to be cognizant of is you're paying fair market rates for the services that IGT provides. We are the global market leader. And when you factor in that we have 65 jobs that are needed to operate our Rhode Island operations, we want you to be cognizant of the additional 1,000 that we're bringing to the table. And so I'm hoping that they will take that into consideration because it's a critical element of it. I can tell you on a more personal side, coming from Rhode Island, being a lifelong Rhode Islander, I want other Rhode Islanders to have the opportunity that I did. Come into a company at the ground floor and be given the opportunity to grow up through the ranks, and I think that would be a great opportunity for Rhode Island to have through 2043.
Okay. Anything else besides what we've already run through, Jay, that you want folks to know here again as CEO of Lottery for IGT? Talking a little bit about the company, your role, and of course, where things stand, looking at a possible contract extension. Was there anything we missed?
No, I think we covered it all. We're looking forward to hearings with the legislature and hopefully September or soon. And I'm very confident when they go through their vetting process that they'll listen to the merits of everything that we've just discussed here and provide as much additional data as they need to get comfortable. That is a great deal for the state of Rhode Island. It's a great deal for IGT, and it's a win-win situation.
Okay, Jay Gendron, Pawtucket native, current East Greenwich resident, heads up the COO as the CEO of Lottery at IGT. We appreciate you taking the time to come downtown, a few blocks away here.
Thank you very much.
To talk with you, the viewers. And don't go anywhere. You're going to see us pop back up here shortly with Secretary of State Nellie Gorbea. So we'll be back with live in just a few minutes here at Go Local.